Welcome, family. I just want to introduce you to DJ Leon D. My music is a little salt and a little pepper. The salt is old school, the pepper is new school. So, welcome to the music mix, and let's get it on.
Welcome back, family. It's your boy, Leon D. I'm going to tell you something. You might like it, you might not like it, you might agree, you might not agree. It's my opinion, it's strictly my opinion, but I'm going to tell you anyway. What you do with it is up to you. Let me tell you what I did over the last couple of weeks. I went camping. I rented an RV and actually a trailer, but they call them RVs. So I rented one, and we decided that we were going to experience what everybody claims is the best thing you're ever going to see or you're ever going to do. We saw the lakes, we saw all the stuff. But now here's my pet peeve. My pet peeve is simple. When you go camping in an RV, let's talk about the food you're going to eat that you don't want to eat. Let's talk about all the things that people don't tell you about. I'm going to tell you about them. I always have, I always will. Now, saying all that, here's the problem. When you camp, it feels like the foods that you normally eat at home, they don't taste the same when you're camping. You know, even if you got a stove or an oven or whatever, it's just not the same ambiance. It's just not the same. Let me give you an example. When you go camping and these people post videos about how great it is and all this and all that. Now, I'm going to tell you one thing. This is the truth. Your stress level is a lot lower until it comes time to eat. Now, we prepped all our food before we took our food. Now, it was just me and the missus. But we had everything ready to go. Everything on ice, no problem. But you know, it seemed like propane is a little bit different from the camper than your house. I'm not sure why it works that way, but things just don't taste the same. And you eat a lot of stuff that you normally don't eat at home as much as you do when you're camping. A lot of people like to have an open fire food 3 times a day. Or you can carry a griddle, which, you know, I'm not a griddle fan, but I guess it's the same as a frying pan. It's just that you don't see the flame. But the thing that really bothers me the most, you eat a lot of junk you don't want to eat. I found myself eating hamburgers, tacos, because you want to have quick food. You know, even when you do chicken, I'm not big on frying. I said that many times. But you end up eating fried foods, and then you walk around. The people are very, very friendly. They offer you this, they offer you that, they offer you a lot of crap. Hey, you want a taco? I can go to Taco Bell and get that. And then they they're real, real nice, and they want to offer you something because they're trying to be your friend. Now if you're watching this video, you're gonna see the drones for when I took the drones out above the lakes, and I got pictures of all the campers and everybody else. But you find yourself eating kind of like kids' food. You're not gonna have brisket, no. And then if you don't take a smoker, ribs are not designed for a griddle or an oven. Nope, 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 not designed for that. I know a lot of you eat that way and think that's normal. It's not. Let's get that straight. It's not. So we took a smoker, and then we threw some ribs and some, hot dogs, stuff that, like I said, I haven't eaten a hot dog off a smoker in God knows how long. Now, I've eaten kibasas and sausages and dooley and that kind of stuff, but you just don't make the foods you like. You just don't, because you want to do something quick. And I don't know why, because when you go camping, there ain't nothing to do. There is nothing to do. So I don't know why people rush to do things. Now, I've seen some older folks, they're walking around the lake, they're cruising, watching the birds and all this kind of stuff. And that was kind of cool. But you can't do it for 5 days. You just can't do it. By the 3rd day, I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to get a real meal. And the one thing most campers do not include in their meals, it's kind of like backpacking. They don't include vegetables. No. You got to hunt for vegetables. When I walked around and watched everybody cooking, Nobody had vegetables. I'm like, holy crap. These people gotta go to the bathroom at some point. Oh well, that's their intestine. They can fight it out. But you don't see vegetables. And then baking, I didn't miss that part. I mean, you could bake little things. And everything when you go camping, no matter what you cook on, it's just smaller. It's just smaller than what you're used to. Whether it's the smoker, whether it's the stove, whether it's the fridge. Now, I didn't have a Class C or Class A, but I did have a 30-foot tow along. So it wasn't like I had a small Volkswagen I'm trying to cook in or live in. No, it's just not the same. And people are going to advertise and say, this is the best hamburger I ever had. Bullshit. It's not. If it is, you have never had my hamburger or good hamburger where I add in stuff to the ground beef, kind of like onions and kind of like tomatoes, kind of like peppers. I add all that in because I don't buy pre-made patties. A lot of people do. I do not. I get ground beef and I add the things in it, including my seasoning, while I'm mixing it all up together before I make them into patties. Before I make them into patties, I do all that stuff. So you're going to have a unique taste to mine no matter what. But camping really is for the lazy people. The lazy people, the lazy eaters. Camping is for them. It's not for the energetic person. It is not for you energetic. And when I say lazy, people who really don't want to cook or they want to do a quick meal. If you want to do a quick meal, go camping because all you're going to have is quick meals. It's kind of like, they had a TV show years ago called 30-Minute Meals. Now, I'll tell you this. I don't think I can ever cook a meal in 30 minutes. And their 30 minutes included prep time. Can you imagine that? 30 minutes from the time you walk in your house to eating your food. No. My stove, my oven, my smokers do not work like that at all. No. That means that everything you eat is off a griddle. That's not the way I eat. I like to have food with a little love in it. And when you're camping, you sit around all day waiting for the next meal. You're waiting for the next meal. There's nothing going on at all the entire day. All you're thinking is, what's next? And then most of the work that you're ever going to do, it's not lazy, is hooking and unhooking your trailers. But if you got something like a fifth wheel, that's not a problem. Or if you got a Class A, that's not a problem. Now, I would never, ever rent a Class C or buy a Class C because when they go into the shop for maintenance, guess what? Your whole house is going into the shop for maintenance, which is stupid as hell. People buy them. They're affordable, but really they're kind of like a large pickup truck that someone's added a camper to and made it one unit. Nothing special, nothing there but headaches. Now, when I say that, camping is about socializing. Whether it's food, whether it's alcohol, people are just sitting around socializing, and most of them are heavy. You don't see a lot of skinny campers. No, you do not. But you see someone that needs to be on those diets. And people walk around campgrounds to see what other people are cooking or what they have. That's all they do. Now, like I said, your stress level is lower, but your fun factor is lower as well. Sometimes you be thinking, now would be a good time for the kids to bug the hell out of me. It doesn't happen. And camping is not for families unless you go into a national park. And then I'm going to tell you, I've taken my kids to national parks. They're not happy. Nope. They only go because they had to. Since they have become grown and moved out of the house, not one single kid has said, Dad, I would love to go camping. I would love to go to a national park. No, national parks are for two types of people, old and foreign. When I go to a national park, I guarantee you, even like Yellowstone, half the people in there and population in there are not Americans. If they are, they were born somewhere else or their parents were. Now, like I said about the food, we prepped all the food, had everything ready to go. And see, I'm not a person who can eat 4 meals in one day. I don't care how long my day is, what time I get up. I'm not that person. Now, fat people, I really believe that fat people have never been full. They just find a good time to stop eating. But they're not full. Nope, they're not full. Because it seems like whenever you come out with something different or new, or even the same food, I'll take a hamburger. I'm thinking you just had 5 hamburgers less than 4 hours ago, and you have not moved from that spot in those 4 hours. But yet, somehow your stomach and your body digested all that and is ready for round 2. And it's only 9:30 in the morning. Yeah. And you know round 3 is coming at 1 o'clock. You know. And then you know round 4 and 5 with the dessert is going to come around 6 o'clock. And then by 10 o'clock, you want another dessert, because when you drink, you eat. Because drinks are usually a lot of sugar. And sugar makes your stomach feel like it has not eaten in a while. Now, I say that, but kids do it all the time with candy and chocolate bars. But when you go camping, you really don't buy the food you're going to eat, the main things, until you get to where you're getting to. Because if you don't have everything you need at the campground, you got to unhook and go back out and get whatever you need. But the food, like I said, you know, I could have had a steak or something like that. But it's not like a steak at home where you lay it on a board or you lay it somewhere, you season it, you let it sit for a second. Camping, you can't do none of that. Because if you're outside, you're going to have bugs. Unless you go in the dead of the winter, you're going to have bugs. It's just how it works. And the bugs, the bugs feel like you're out there for them. And what I mean by that, when a bug eats, that means that he is sucking the blood out of you, like mosquitoes. You feel like you're the mosquito dessert, because when you're outside and you're cooking food, sweetness, a lot of things make you a magnet for the bugs. Lots of things, lots of reasons. They make you the magnet for the bugs. And the bugs are thinking, give me a little, bugs are like us. They like fresh food. And to a bug, fresh food is a little kid. They're plump with blood. And the blood is new. They're plump with new blood. They don't want the 80-year-old grandma. They don't want to bite her because they know she got old blood. That's not a good meal. It's kind of like going to Kentucky and eating mutton. Who would eat mutton baffles me. Because when I went camping, this guy had mutton chops. Yeah, I thought they were pork chops. And I'm like, that pork chop is really, really great because it was a mutton. You know, mutton is like, you got old sheep. They're old for a reason. They're not designed to be eaten. Go get a young sheep. Think about it. You want something fresh, get something young. You want something old and look like it's stale, get something old. But the one thing I did notice about camping, people set these bonfires or these pit fires, and they don't use them for open fire cooking. I use the hell out of mine. Why should I have 3 or 4 different flames going and propane being used when the wood is already there? All I need is a match and food, and it's lit up. Nobody I saw camping had vegetables. I'm like, geez, these people don't get into the vegetable part at all, which I'm not, I don't have a problem with that. You don't like vegetables, you don't like vegetables. It is what it is. But my whole thing was, when you're at home, you have your starch, your vegetables, your meat, you have everything. Nah, camping kind of screws all that up. In camping, you have 1 or 2 things, a lot of it, and then that's it. And everybody think that camping with burgers and hot dogs is the way to go. No, because I don't eat burgers and hot dogs very often at home. And I don't want hamburger helper, but you don't boil stuff. You don't have rice. You may have potato every now and then, but not very often. Like I said, the things you just miss out. You don't have mac and cheese. You don't have spaghetti. You don't have a mixture of everything. That's what you want at home. That's what I want when I camp. And I quickly realized that my problem was I was thinking that I was going to eat the same kind of meals camping that I would eat at home. Hell no. I felt like I ate a lot of my kids' meals that they loved. My kids love all that crap because there are no vegetables. They thought it was the best meal in the world. Now, my kids eat vegetables because my kids grew up, they didn't have options on what they were going to eat. They had two options, to eat or not to eat. But what you're going to eat is not on the table for an option. That's just how it works in my house. And camping, my wife made it. Either I ate it or I did not eat it. And it wasn't like I ate a little bit. I ate enough to get full, thinking about the next meal like most campers do. They look and say, what's next? That is just how they saw things. But also, the one thing too that with camping about food is that people don't drink water. I'm a water fanatic. I'm almost like Aquaman. I like my water. Camping people didn't like, they had water, but they had water to put the flames out. I drink a lot of water every day, at almost a gallon and a half every day. I like to stay hydrated. And then camping, you eat all this food, and then people get on their e-bikes or electric bicycles or whatever. They're not exercising, or they get in the golf cart to cruise around to the neighbor to see if he had anything that they didn't have. I very seldom saw from trailer or camper to camper to camper different foods. I saw the same thing. It's almost like there's a menu I missed. Here goes the camping menu that is standard for everybody. I'm like, okay, I missed that part because I brought stuff. I'm like, okay, I don't have that, or that. And when I say that, I had lamb chops, I had ground lamb, I had veal cutlets. Hell, I had a winter schnitzel, thinking that I was going to have that. Then when I got there, I'm thinking, how am I going to cook this without using the stove? Which takes away from the experience of camping. I want to have my stove. So I just realized that I like camping, but I got to do a better job on feeding myself. In other words, I can buy the food anywhere, but I got to do a better job on feeding myself by bringing the right things. And the worst thing about camping that makes it difficult, you really can't bring great cutlery. The cutlery, the knives and forks and the plates, you can't bring top of the line because you got to wash them out. And your tank only holds so much water unless you're already plugged in and you got more water. And then when you get water, you're gonna hear the pump running. And I'm thinking to myself, that pump is straining to give me a gallon of water per day. So there are things that you can do to make it better. There are things that I got to do to make it better because I like the experience. But two things gets to me: the food and the boredom. I cannot handle the boredom. I cannot sit there for 3 or 4 hours, and I don't want to drive around state parks and national parks because there's nothing nearby those that makes it fun outside of a Walmart, but there's nothing co-located or close by. They're located where they are because of the space. Because of the space is why they're located where they're located at. And a lot of people don't understand that. You're not going to have a national park in downtown New York. Get over that. Yes, it's going to be someplace in Maine that you probably would have never visited in 3 lifetimes intentionally. You may went there accidentally, but they're large and it's there for a reason. So when you go camping, make sure you got all the right stuff you want as far as your tools. You got to have your tools. But also, your expectation should be different. And a lot of people who say this is the greatest thing ever, going camping and all this stuff and all that stuff, they're used to it. It's a huge difference on something you're used to and something that's new to you. And your expectations are totally different on the things that are used to you. When it's new to you, your expectations are different because they are used to a set standard or a minimum bar. Camping is not going to exceed your minimum bar. Get over that. It is what it is. And kids like it because you got water, you got all kind of things, and they're eating hot dogs, burgers all day with no vegetables. So for a kid, it's ideal until that kid gets older and that kid is now asked to help pack or unpack, unhook your trucks. Now some of the kid doesn't like it as much. It's not as much fun now as it was when they were 9 years old and all he did was run around, burning energy, eating 8 times a day, including a lot of candy, or, just sitting around talking to grandma about 1910, So this is your boy. I told you about camping. The food is not what you expect. It's overrated. And people say it's great. Yeah, it's great if you're used to it. If you want a decent meal, I'm not asking for a 5-star restaurant. I just don't want a minus a 5-star restaurant. So this is your boy Leon D. We'll talk more. This is about RV and camping. Peace.